Today we're talking about the difference between reach versus nurture content in your social media organic strategy. I'm joined with Kayla, our head of organic social.
Sorry, that was awkward.
It's all right. We're going to keep that in for sure.
Okay.
Kayla, welcome.
Hi.
So tell me a bit about, when we're talking about social strategy, how does the strategy work and what is the difference between your nurture content versus your reach content?
I think with your social strategy, I think that it's kind of leaning a little bit away from like defining your content pillars and sort of forming your social media strategy that way. And lately what I've been working on is doing your reach versus nurture content. So if you're looking at your reach content, it's not going to be super like relevant to your brand all the time. It's more like your content that will reach a wider audience. So whether that's tapping into some pop culture, posting a meme, it could be like a quote. It's just something that can reach a lot of people. So while you want it to be somewhat relative to your brand, it's more like savable, shareable content. So stuff that people are going to share to their stories. I tend to sort of want to do that content in kind of like a funny way, wherever it suits the brand. But then you've also got your nurture content. So that's your content that you're building for people who are loyal for your brand. So that might be more your educational stuff. It might be more of like your team and culture, that kind of format. So I think that it's really important now with the algorithms and how everything works that you are creating this reach content that is that more relatable way for people to reach your brand.
Okay, so when we're thinking about this is going to be quite similar to when I'm seeing on our TikTok, there's videos which I'm just like, I don't get it. This is not stuff that I guess I could ever think of to create for our pages. So I guess that's what you're talking about when you talk about the reach content, right?
Yes.
And so in terms of volume of that, and then the other content is the stuff kind of like what we're doing right here, where we're sort of educating, showing authority, positioning yourself in the market as an expert, stuff like that. So when we're thinking about the mix and the breakdown, how do we work out what's the right balance there?
I think it's entirely dependent on the brand, but I also try and do a bit of a 50-50 on that one. I guess it depends on the month and kind of what promotions the brand has going out as well as to how much we can play with that. I definitely tend to lean more towards reach content when I'm doing a schedule, like a monthly schedule, just because I guess trying to hit the engagement metrics and trying to get more people on the brand, like following the brand, sorry. So I guess when it comes to, for example, us doing our own content for our marketing agency, we obviously want our reach content to be somewhat relevant to marketing, or it might be more relevant to team culture. Like we might post like funny trends that are about like the team in the office. We had one do really, really well, which was just at 3 p.m. when you get like the sillies and you want to drink a Diet Coke. Like it's silly content that might not be like directly related to marketing, but then people see that it reaches like a really wide audience. They follow us. A lot of brands end up following accounts like that as well. And then that means that when we are posting our more educational nurture content, we've already built that audience who are already engaged.
Okay. So the metrics there when you're doing your reach is obviously you're trying to get as many views as possible.
Yeah.
And then how are you measuring your nurture content? What's the best way that businesses should be going, all right, cool, this has been a successful post or whatever when they're looking at this style of content?
I think with your nurture content, that's when you really hone in on your brand and making sure people know more about your brand. So if you were like a retail company, that's when you're sort of posting about like your products. I also think that your nurture content doesn't always have to be super educational. It could be highlighting your people, the people behind your brand story. I think it's really, really important for people to be sharing their brand story. I think more now than ever, people buy from people. Obviously, you really want to highlight your products, but people are always buying from people. So I think it's just all about like humanizing your brand and bringing people along for the journey.
Developing a personality that people can engage with. Is that sort of...
Yeah. Educating about your products, educating about your people. Just you really want to make sure that you're building that loyalty between your brand and your audience.
So I guess when we're considering this, we're looking at, all right, well, let's have a mix of content, which is going to be generate as much reach as possible, reach new audiences. And then once people are engaged following your page, because I think even a lot of the algorithms, you don't even need to follow now. I think once you've watched a full video, you're then going to fall into just getting more content from other people. Then you're going to start using your strategy around your engagement style content or your nurture content to really educate and build that brand loyalty. And so using that cycle of reaching more and then building more, because I guess a lot of this more educational content, while it does get decent views, it's not going to go as far out as it would for the reach style content.
Yeah, 100%. And in saying that, it's not saying that your educational content can't be created in a way that generates more reach. Like that's the end goal, right? We want your nurture content to be reaching a wide audience. But in saying that, you need a loyal audience in the first place. So that's why I think it's really important to build on that reach content, get as many people as you can engaged, which means when you have your more like valuable educational nurture content, that's also going to get out to more people.
Okay. Could you give me some examples of the type of content that fall within each category?
Yeah, for sure. So your reach content, that's sort of designed to get you in front of new audiences. So it's meant to be really engaging. It's meant to be shareable. This could be talking about something like industry news, something that might be relevant to a broad group of people, talking on a trending topic, memes. So I think anything pop culture, if you can sort of relate your brand to something that's massive in pop culture, even if it was something like, the Met Gala or something that might not actually have anything to do with your brand, somehow kind of twist that in a way, whether that's sharing memes, anything like that, or posting relatable quotes or relatable content that reaches a wide audience. That's sort of what you want to focus on for your reach. When it comes to your nurture post, this is really designed for people that are already following you and are already engaged with your brand. So the goal with your nurture content is to sort of funnel them closer to your goal and funnel them closer to that conversion in whatever way you're sort of seeking that conversion. That could be like signups, purchases, inquiries, but yeah, just content that they're going to find it valuable. So that could be posts recommending your products, kind of solving their questions. It could be a behind the scenes. It could be your opinions, your thoughts, your story. It could be anything that just really positions you as an expert in front of your ideal customer.
Well, I guess when you're looking at tailoring your next social media organic schedule or looking to level up your social strategy, maybe start considering how you can get a mix of this type of content using reach and using nurture content. Thanks to Kayla for joining today, and thanks for watching.